Is up, NFC West football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC West Roundtable powered by BetUS. Week 15 is in the books. 3 games to talk about. 2 winners in the division, 2 losers, and 1 team that has gone from the basement to the top. We got a lot to talk about tonight here on the Week 15 recap episode of the NFC West Roundtable. Without further ado, let's bring in the fellas. Jake's got his shades on. Mike's got his shades on. And the shadeless gang. Brandon and Jesse, shadeless tonight. We will talk about why they don't have their shades on. We'll talk about why Jake and Mike have theirs on. But before we do, let's talk about the team that's currently at the top of the division, not only in the standings, but in the betting market as well. Right now over on BetUS, the Rams. As I say to you every week, because I still can't get over it, especially because Jesse called it. Back when they were, plus 1,500 a blink of an eye ago, the LA Rams are now minus money to win the NFC West going into the final few weeks of the season. Minus 165 are the Rams. Seahawks plus 210. Cardinals still got a chance there at plus 700, and apparently, according to BetUS, it is curtains for the San Francisco 49ers. They're not on the board. But right now, you can still get the Rams at decent money, minus 165. I know it might look like a bit of a heavy favorite, but that's still decent money with some football left to play. And the Seahawks there at plus 210, not a bad bet either. If you want to get in on any of those lines or the upcoming Week 16 lines, do so on BetUS with the promo code YouTube150, and that'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next 2 after that. All right, fellas, Week 15 in the books. Let's start here with where Week 15 started. And that's on Thursday Night Football. The Rams coming off one of the more entertaining games of the year. Just to follow that up with probably the least entertaining game of the entire year. A win, nonetheless, in that type of game for the Rams. 12-6, your final in San Francisco. The only game of the season to feature 0 touchdown score, but the Rams still found a way. The weather wasn't great, raining all night long, and it was interesting to see the Rams, who put up an unbelievably explosive offensive performance against my Buffalo Bills, go into the San Francisco 49ers stadium, not be able to generate close to what they did the week prior, yet still come out with the W. This game was close throughout, but ultimately the Rams wound up prevailing. Jesse, I'll start with you. You've been critical of Brock Purdy, for the majority of the season, and you're willing to voice your concerns when it comes to him, but you've voiced probably amongst anything the biggest concern about him in weather, him in elements, the inability to grip the football. You have found that when it's not beautiful outside, the play from Brock Purdy isn't beautiful, and it was one of those days for Brock Purdy again on Thursday night. 14 of 31, Jesse, a $142 and a pick. Talk to me about what you saw on Thursday night. Maybe you had thought the Niners bounced back the week prior, but it was ugly on Thursday.
It was ugly. In fact, this game was so last week. Do we really have to talk about it?
I forgot about it.
Like there's more pressing needs. I don't, yeah, it was a very ugly game to say the least. And it's so funny because all week long, and I've never done this on my platform, but all week long here, and then on the Behind Enemy Line show, I picked the Rams to win in both scenarios. But the day of the game, I got real fan, and I switched my pick. And I knew my head told me, like, there's no way, but my heart said, you know what? One last run, F it. We're going with the Niners. Ultimately, the 49ers, it came down to, I think, exactly what I said when I made the prediction on this show, which was, I'm going to just have to go with the better quarterback and the better coach. And you talk about a game that it really did come down to that. I mean, this was it. Both quarterbacks played really, really bad in the elements in the first half. It was not pretty for either one of them. I think actually, as bad as Brock played, Stafford played worse in the elements, which is crazy to say. But then when they came out at halftime, the elements were basically over for the most part until the very, very end. And that's when Stafford turned it on. He finished like 11 of 14. Every big throw they needed, every big third down they needed to hit on that final drive, he got. The big play to Puka Nacua, he hit. Brock Purdy, on the other hand, acted as if the weather didn't dissipate at all because he was still very inaccurate. The one time he made a really good throw to Debo, it was dropped. No surprise there. It's been happening all year. And then he had the opportunity of a lifetime on a deep seam, skinny post, whatever you want to call it, to Ricky Pearsall, misses him, and then a play later throws an awful pick into what seemed to be quadruple coverage for no reason. And that was it. They didn't touch the ball the rest of the game. It was over after that until like the final 20 seconds. And yeah, man, kudos to the Rams. It is interesting because when they were at plus 1,600, I did say, hey, it's a good bet. I mean, plus 1,600, I'll take my money on them. But when they lost to, I think it was the Eagles after losing to the Dolphins, I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I think this is over for you guys. They've bounced back, man. And I think that they are the most talented team in the division. To me, it seems pretty clear that they're probably going to win the division. And I wouldn't sleep on them in the playoffs either.
Saw a stat earlier today, a list of all of the players on the in the NFL that have one receiving touchdown, and it is the most random list of players you'll ever see. One of the guys on that list, however, is Deebo Samuel. Take me through that moment, Jesse. That's a touchdown if he catches that in stride. I mean, he had nothing but daylight, and with his speed, you got to imagine he's gone. He drops it. Now, in any condition, that would have been a terrible drop that would kill you as a fan. But to factor in everything that went into it during the week, the emphasis on getting him the ball because he had thought that he wasn't getting it enough. Just walk me through that sequence because that had to have been a gut punch for you.
Oh, yeah. But it was no surprise. It was funny because early on, Kyle is so predictable. It's like we knew that the moment he came out and chirped that Kyle was going to force feed him the ball. And when you look at the overall number, you can say, oh, well, he only got, 9 targets / touches, through the running game and passing game. Not a lot. I mean, he's supposed to be one of your star players, but really you look at how that game started out. They went to him right away. Multiple times within the first 5 plays were designed for Deebo Samuel to touch the ball. And then you realize, wow, he's just not good. Still, that's crazy. It's not the touches, but they kept doing it. And then in that moment, for him to drop that ball, it was, I mean, he kind of deserves it, man. I'm sorry. He's talked so much ish all season long about how this is the best team and, I'm one of the better players. And I remember 2 years ago, he was asked about, does he watch other receivers around the league to pick up things? Most respectable guys would be like, yeah, I really like watching so-and-so and I take something from so-and-so. He was like, no, they can't do what I do.
Damn.
What?
Wow.
So you're just the best player in the league. Okay, Deebo, I got you. And he's carried himself that way. And for good reason at times. He's definitely, when Deebo's talked trash in the past, he's always backed it up. And so I looked at this as maybe an opportunity for him to kind of get himself right mentally. I felt like he was doing it more to get himself up and ready for the game. And he'll come through the way that he always had. He didn't at all. And it was really, really sad to watch because I think truly he might be washed at this point.
One last question for you, Jesse. Seemingly out of nowhere, the Brock Purdy contract talks have ramped up, and it came out that Brock Purdy isn't going to settle for a top 10 contract. It's more than likely that he's going to come to the table looking for a top end contract. It's funny how that came out. And then all of a sudden, Josh Allen was like, yeah, I'm a little sick and tired of being the 14th paid quarterback. We're going to have to talk about ours as well. But I just wanted to get your quick synopsis on how the fan base is reacting to that whole situation, especially after you watch a game like last Thursday.
The old school meme where the dog's sitting in the burning room. He's like, everything's fine. It's fine here. That's the 49ers fan base right now. It's full on war right now. I mean, you've seen it with the Dolphins fan base with Tua when he was about to get paid. Imagine that, but worse. It is really, really bad right now. There's people that are just like, you pay him no matter what. I mean, look at what he's done. We can't do this without Brock. He deserves it. I mean, just such a good guy. And then there's other people like me that are like, don't do this. You're going to put yourself in purgatory. You cannot do this. And so now you have a situation where his manager is speaking through the media and saying, hey, he's not going to take anything less than market level, which is the Dak Prescott area. And then you have guys like Brian Baldinger come out and say, yeah, if he asked for that kind of money, I mean, I would just go get Sam Darnold. But even worse, the play-by-play radio guy, Greg Papa, or local, he's radio. I think he might be local TV as well. Greg Papa for the 49ers, he was asked about it. And he said, yeah, they'll figure something out, but it's not going to be north of 50 million. So it's like now the 49ers have counteracted and said, yeah, that's cool. You want 60. We're not going above 50. So it already seems like they're trying to play through the media exactly what this thing's going to look like. And technically, he is eligible to be paid as soon as the regular season ends. So it is not surprising to me that these negotiation tactics are already starting to play out through the media.
I'm awfully interested to see how that goes because the Niners like to wait till the day of, it seems, to pay somebody. So it'll be interesting to see when they pay him, what they pay him, how that all goes down. But I just found it interesting that it comes out and then, you have a game like Thursday and it's just got to be tough to talk about paying that amount of money after you watch something like that. Speaking of watching that game, Jake, you're on the winning end of that game. I know it was ugly, but in the situation that your Rams are in, you'll take them any way you can get them. You'll take them scoring 44. You'll take them scoring 12. It does not matter. The Rams get it done on Thursday night to improve to 8-6 at the top of the division. And as Jesse said, not a great day for Stafford, but it seemed like he stepped up when it counted. You got enough out of Kyron Williams to seal the deal. Another great day from Puka as well. He had over half of Matthew Stafford's receiving yards. So talk to me. I mean, Jake, this is a team that everyone keeps saying you don't want to see them in the playoffs. They get it done yet again, and they're setting themselves up to get there. So talk to me about what you saw Thursday. Oh, you can't bring the broom out on mute, Jake. You got to be ready to rock.
Oh, no. I was like, he has the
broom.
broom.
No.
He's muted.
No.
He accidentally hit the mute button with that broom.
God is not a Rams.
Oh, you know what? I think he's trying to play the song and might have screwed him up. He's got a little he's got some football gods going against him.
Nope.
Can't even hear him. Oh no.
It would have been epic too.
Man, they might be hitting us with a copyright. Man, that might be what it is, Jake. I've had that.
Hold on.
There
You guys can't hear me?
Yeah, you are.
No,
Now
We can now.
Okay. I was like wondering. Yeah, so I have a broom here. Because
went for the
Jesse.
expensive one there, huh? Dollar
it
store
was
broom?
kind of heavy, low key. Like I almost dropped it. I was like, "What the hell is this thing made of?" Yeah. So I have this broom. It signifies the fact that the Rams have indeed swept the 49ers, and I wouldn't be doing this if y'all didn't remind me every single season that you do it. Not Jesse, of course. Jesse's the classiest 49er fan out there. But Jesse, you were gonna give me a fork, so I'm gonna send you this broom. Just be careful. It's heavy as hell. I'm pretty sure you could kill somebody with this thing. I mean, it should not be this damn heavy. All right, now, Jesse, this is not directed at you, but I gotta play the song. I'm a man of my word, right? So shout out to at Trap House Sports. Oh, here we go. Not suitable for work. Cover your kids' ears if they're watching. Yo, some booty Chiefs. Yo, let's feed the Chiefs.
Just roll that through the whole rest of the show, man, on the background.
I know.
We got the soundtrack here.
I wish they'd remix it for L31 teams because this guy crushes it.
He's so good.
I said 31, 32. Just don't make one about the Bills, I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, Well, your team doesn't hold the boom box up when they're coming out for the Super Bowl, so you're not going to have this song.
That's the thing is it's the video paired with the song that's so good because it's like the 49ers coming out, Debo and Trent, they're like dancing to it.
Oh my God.
Like bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. And you got your quarterback from Sheen, bro. We got Brock from Sheen. That's
when
crazy.
he says
part, man.
Sheen, Tebow Tom Brady got your quarterback from Sheen.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
All right, DJ Jake.
Who cares if George Kittle looks like Ben Franklin, though? Like, it's
the best because it doesn't rhyme either. Just throws it in there.
Debo
So talk
looks
to
like
us.
the baby.
Talk to us, Jake. You finished brooming. You had some nice tune. No cleaning. You can't clean the house without some tunes in the background. So
Yeah,
you finished the sweep. Talk to me about the Rams during that sweep. and where they're at right now mentally in terms of how you perceive them, because two polar opposite games, two W's nonetheless, and everywhere you want or anywhere you want them to be at this point of the year, regardless of how it went prior to this, they're at that point.
Yeah, I think this was a amazing game for them. This was huge because it was the polar opposite of what we saw from the offense. The defense had their 44-point game, if you will, and that's how I looked at it. They're being asked to go on the road, which I don't think Thursday Night Football should exist this late in the season. I think these games are way too important, and I think it's just asking way too much out of these guys. I have an issue with the Christmas games. Wednesday, I think it puts these teams at a disadvantage. These are really important games. But I'm not complaining. This is what was on their schedule, and they played it in the rain. And I said, coming into this season, even when I had this team winning 13 games, I had them losing this game and the Bills game because I felt like the Bills on Sunday, team that doesn't play the Bills well at all historically, they are a physical football team. They are essentially the embodiment of what Sean McDermott's trying to bring to the table, and you feel that. And they were zonked. They were absolutely dead. And that's why I look at this as a survive and advance. This is no different than March Madness, okay? It's no different. If you're the 1 seed, you still have to play the 8 seed or the 9 seed. Doesn't matter after you beat the 16. You still have to play the 8 and 9. And you can't just look down on anybody because if you lose, well, that's it. If the Rams lost this game, I don't care what, the percentage shows. The 49ers are still in this thing at that point. And in addition to that, the Rams don't have any sort of comfortability where it's like, oh yeah, you could drop this Jets game, but you can pretty much beat the Cardinals and Seahawks and still make the playoffs. It wouldn't be that way. So going on the road, beating the Niners after you beat them earlier in the year and gave them something to really feel, kind of pissy about, and then you're playing in their home and their back is against the wall. So I said, you're going to get their best. Well, I do think the elements played a factor into both offensive sputtering, but I got to give a lot of credit to that 49er defense. And I got to give a lot of credit to that Rams defense because I know a lot of people complained it wasn't your fantasy football night or betting night or whatever, but that was good football from those defenses, and you can't take that away. And I think, way too often do we just say bad offense and not good defense. And I think the real good defense was there. I understand there were some missed throws from Purdy. There were some missed throws from Stafford. Stafford did not have a good grip on the football in the first half. We could see that. But I don't give a rip. Give this defense their credit. I said that in the Super Bowl when they lost 13-3 to New England. Give the Patriots credit. They absolutely stifled Jared Goff and the Rams. And the Rams and Wade Phillips absolutely stifled Tom Brady and the Patriots. And I feel like so often we'll just say, well, it's offensive miscues. That's like saying incomplete pass after a pressure, which forced the incomplete pass. Yeah, well, he didn't hit his target. Yeah, he didn't hit his target because I sent a 250-pound guy running right at his face. And then he had to make a quick decision. So I want to give credit to both sides because I thought the 49ers played a great game on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball, not so much, and that's the same with the Rams. But the Rams were able to do just enough, and I'm really glad that they got the defense playing at that level, getting them that confidence. In addition to that, the confidence of their special teams unit. That was huge from Josh Carty, this rookie kicker, who I've been saying, for whatever reason, you have the Rams fans getting on his back. I'm not saying he even cares about social media, but why even put that in the ether? This is a rookie kicker. Why are you trying to kill this kid's confidence? I don't get it. He's had a fine year, and he's a rookie. He's going to have his mistakes, which I would say most of it have just been the holds. But then the last thing I'll say is this, because I have to get my piece because he's in the background. Keller Witherspoon freaking balled out. So if anyone wants to tell me that this guy shouldn't be on an NFL roster and he can't start and he can't play and he's trash and gets burned, well, he's the only Ram in the last 20 years to have 3 PBUs in a game. He's the best damn corner on this team. He was the best damn corner on the team last year. And I'm so tired of just the nonstop disrespect that he gets when people who were disrespecting him aren't even watching him on all 22. He's been doing this every time he's asked to come into games. That pass breakup, that was absolutely textbook covering Pearsall. You cannot play that any better. And so, of course, NFL.com and the Rams YouTube channel, they cut that out because that wasn't an important play in highlights. But more importantly here, I keep hearing that Brock Purdy underthrew. I don't care if he underthrew him. He ran the route for Pearsall. He was picking that off if he threw it any further. So he was incredible, and he set the tone early on because I'll tell you right now, Kyle Shanahan wanted to embarrass him. He wanted Alvin Kamara. He did not want Ahkello Witherspoon. He holds it against him to this day, and he wanted to embarrass him. And you know what? They went after him on the first play and set the tone early on, shut down Deebo Samuel. I was really impressed because it's not just, my liking for Ahkello, and I'll always say I only get loud when I feel like guys' disrespect is unfair and not earned. But I think this was big just for the Rams secondary and their defense in general because they were playing without Kobe Durant, who has been huge for them this year with a lung contusion. So if you take anything away from this, take away that, look, the Rams won ugly. It happens. I don't give a rip. And no one is going to care in January that they won this game by 12-6, without scoring a touchdown on the road on a rainy Thursday night. People have already forgotten about this game. So that's how I look at it. You got a big game this week against the Jets. You could say, oh, yeah, they're 4-10. Who cares? That's not going to be easy. Travel cross country. Same thing. Arizona's traveling cross country to play Carolina. That is a massive game for them. And you still got Arizona and got Seattle. So this division is not won, and Sean McVay has made that very clear. This is nice, but it means literally nothing until we get it, clinched. And so that's how I look at it. This team can beat anybody. And I think ultimately, if they stay healthy, they'll win the Super Bowl, but we'll see.
Huge W for the Rams. In order to get to that Super Bowl, they got to keep paving their way through the regular season here, as you mentioned, Jake. Jets upcoming this week. I hope for your sake you don't get the vintage Packers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers duo that we saw this past week. I don't know what the hell that was.
Right.
But hopefully you avoid that. And the team you have to play a week after that is the team we transition to now. 11 days from tonight, you'll be playing the Arizona Cardinals on Saturday night primetime. These Arizona Cardinals got it done on Sunday afternoon this past week. Finally off the schneid are the Arizona Cardinals, back on top, beating the New England Patriots 30-17, backed by a huge day from James Conner, who I'm sure all fantasy owners of his in the playoffs right now were smiling. 110 yards, 2 touchdowns on only 16 carries. No touchdowns for Kyler Murray, but he was efficient, 23 of 30. So, Mike, you're back on the winning side of things here against these Patriots, 7-7. And look at, anything's possible. This division has been insane all year long. So there's still a pulse for Arizona. Talk to me about why we should still have hope in Arizona after what we saw on Sunday against New England.
Yeah, real quick before I actually get to this game, can we talk about the breaking news here from Budda Baker getting signed for a 3-year extension? What an amazing move by the Arizona Cardinals, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a 3-year deal.
Oh,
it was a
congratulations,
$53 million, $30 million guaranteed. It's just an absolute wonderful thing that the Arizona Cardinals ended up doing. We signed James Conner about 3-4 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, when's Budda coming? A lot of scarcity, but yes, Budda Baker is now going to be part of the Cardinals for years to come, at least 3 more years. Super, super excited about that. So let's go. But yeah, let's talk about this this Patriots game. Now, obviously, when you think of this win over the Patriots, you're not going to get a lot of, excitement. There wasn't a lot of viewership, leading up to this game anyways, because it's the Patriots, a 3-win team. But overall, with what I've seen in this game, there's a lot of concern on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm very, very excited with what we've seen from this defense. Like I'm going to be leaning on the fact that, talking about Budda Baker again, the reason why he got extended, there's a reason why he's one of the top tacklers as a safety in the entirety of the NFL right now. I think he's leading solo tackles and number 2 in combined tackles. Like, it's amazing what he's doing right now. But this defense as a whole, when they are playing and given their opportunity and they're locked in, they're actually playing pretty darn decent. Now, have we looked pretty bad? couple Seahawks games here. Yes, I mean, there's been some games like that. Green Bay wasn't good. Commanders wasn't good either. But for the most part, they've been holding it down when we needed our opportunities. So this offense, although we all want to kind of tell ourselves we ride and die with the play of Kyler Murray, I think we all kind of need to kind of shut that down. We ride and die with the play of James Conner. Like that's what it is. This offense runs through James Conner. He needs to have 20 carries, 18, 19, 20 carries, and hopefully over 100 yards. Now, there's a little worrisome that comes around with it because sometimes we've seen it where if you stack the box up on the Cardinals, or if you stop James Conner, sometimes there's no solution. Now, there's been a couple games where the Cardinals have been able to, exceed that, but right now, a lot of Cardinal fans, we're just kind of leaning on hope right now. We're leaning on hope, but obviously James Conner was masterclass this weekend. Marvin Harrison Jr., I know there's a lot of people kind of gumming on him, but overall, I think he's still leading wide receivers in touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm cool with this performance. Yes, he's not 900,000 yards right now, but hey, I got all the patience in the world and see what he could potentially do. I think the offense right now is still a little clunky. So do I have positivity? Of course, I'm a Cardinal fan. Whenever we're winning, we're 7-7. We are 4 wins 2 years in a row. So anything's getting me excited. And we got an opportunity to be 8 wins. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. But there's not really much to stands out in this game, to be honest with you. The defense took care of business. Kyler Murray had a meh game. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't one of those things where it was like, oh man, what a great performance. But one thing I want this Arizona Cardinal offense to get better on is just be consistent, man. Get that pass game going and get those explosive games going, because it's just a lot of dink and dunk. And I feel like when we do have that mid-range, it just almost kind of feels lucky for the Cardinals. So James Conner's a dog. I mean, what else got to say about that?
Panthers, Rams, Niners to finish things out, Mike. And we're looking at the Rams schedule. They got to play 2 divisional games, one, of course, a head-to-head with you. And then we look at the Seahawks. They got to play the Vikings this upcoming week, who are on a tear. They got their head-to-head with the Rams. And then the Bears are in there, who, I mean, I don't even know, man. Bears, good God. But with that in mind, you mentioned the confidence level, or you mentioned the hope, and you mentioned, optimism here. Where's the confidence level at the potential for this team to somehow find a way to back into the dance?
Well, here's the thing. The way that the Cardinals are speaking here, and I really do like it, and they've been speaking like this the whole freaking year. Like, it's always one game at a time. Like, they're not trying to look too far ahead. Now, that's the job of, obviously, the media and the fans and the podcasters and stuff like that. That's our job, to kind of look ahead and try to see what happens. Our biggest threat, our biggest roadblock right now is Mr. Sunglasses guy over there, Mr. Jake Ellenbogen and their Rams. That's the big roadblock we have going on right now. Now, obviously, we've had some trouble in the history with the Panthers. It doesn't matter. You can bring Cam Newton out of retirement. He can still beat us. It's just wild. We don't have very much good luck with the Panthers, but we beat them the last time around. We're hoping that we can go ahead and continue the trend, but it all starts with the Panthers. Now, I also don't want to look past the 49ers, because although their season isn't too great, I think they would love an opportunity to kind of put a fork in a division rival as well. And they probably don't see us as that, but they're probably going to want to play spoilers as well. So right now, with where my stances, the biggest roadblock is probably the Rams right now, but you got to take care of business against the Rams. We're going over to the East Coast. We're going to be playing that first slot, so it's not going to be easy there. And we're going to be playing in their weather, their inclement weather. It's not a dome, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how that shakes out. But I'm just hoping for a good performance here from Kyler Murray, because we need a level of confidence back in this fan base, because just like Brock Purdy and the 49ers, people are having that here with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. It's just, you got your believers, you got your non-believers, but one thing that will make everybody believers: go 3-0, win the division, and then we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's not just 3-0. A lot of things have to happen, but you know what I mean.
Yep, anything's possible, especially in this division. So we'll keep an eye on what goes down with the Arizona Cardinals the final 3 weeks. Let's talk about a team that was at the top of this division not all that long ago, who lost in, a gross fashion, to say the least, on Sunday Night Football. The Seattle Seahawks fall to the Green Bay Packers 30-13. And unfortunately, beyond the loss, they also lost Geno Smith midway through the third quarter in this game. Sam Howell had to come in and try and engineer that comeback, and it just wasn't in the cards. Now, luckily, it doesn't seem like the damage in the injury for Geno Smith was anything too destructive. So hopefully the Seahawks get him back on the field as soon as possible, because they are going to need him the way it looked under Sam Howell. Brandon, I was expecting more out of Seattle on Sunday night. I just felt like this was a spot, the way that they've been playing defensively against Green Bay, who I'm not entirely sure if we can consider them elite yet, good, middle. I don't know if we've defined what Green Bay is yet. It felt like it was a spot where Seattle could really prove that they're serious going into the playoffs here. It didn't wind up looking that way. You're looking at the team stats or the player stats here, and it just felt like throughout the night, nothing was going right offensively, and Green Bay was able to take advantage of that early on, kind of punch that defense in the mouth with their run game, and they never looked back. So, Brandon, talk to me about what you saw on Sunday night and kind of how that has you feeling moving forward here the last 3 weeks.
Not good. Definitely it's a hit to the confidence level, not just being a loss, but this has been one we've had a couple times this year. Lions, your Buffalo Bills team, the Niners at home, embarrassing losses where your just team doesn't seem to show up. And it's kind of hard to understand why, where they've been building up to this. There was so much on the line. You're at home, but that's the feel that you get from some of these games. I'm sure you saw the same thing for that Bills game. You certainly beat us. It's not that you didn't go out there and take the game from us, but we're at home and there's a lifelessness sort of at play a little bit from the team. The offense got out ahead from the Packers. Our offense couldn't do much of anything. Then once we got behind, our offensive coordinator bailed on the run game. The pressure rate, if you guys can imagine, this was the worst it's been all year as far as efficiency goes, pass blocking efficiency goes. And you've been playing with fire all year with this, with your quarterback, getting him banged around, hoping you didn't get him injured. You finally got him injured. And I've said, as much as people, even including this panel, want to knock and bang around on Geno Smith and this and that, guy in Sam Howell last year who threw for 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns on not a very good Washington team, walked out there and showed you exactly what I said would happen if you put any other quarterback in this kind of situation. They would collapse. They would fall apart. Not merely they wouldn't be able to keep their head above water. They would drown instantaneously. And that's exactly what you saw from Sam Howell the second that you stuck him out there. It's not to say that Geno didn't play a good game, and the red zone interception thing, that problem, this sort of fatal flaw within his game, where he gets down inside the 20 and starts getting wild with the ball. I don't have any explanation or excuse for that. He's had plenty of time to try to fix that and correct that, and I think that is correctable. But he's not at the head of the stack. The problems coming out of this game, it's more to me the overall why wasn't this team ready to go? Why didn't they show up in a big game like this? And unfortunately, at this point, I just don't think even if Geno can get out there for the Vikings game that you're going to be able to muster up much, because the Vikings are going to run that pressure fronts. Geno's going to have to move. He's not going to be able to move. Game over. So disappointing on that angle of it. Really, really disappointing, but hard to explain away other than much of that. Defensively, you found some footing in the second half, but they basically did what they wanted to do with you in that first half, doing what you can do against this McDonald defense, which is just kind of pick it apart. It's a little bit of like what the Chiefs did to the Ravens in that first half in the conference championship game. You take the short 3-yard runs, you throw to the flat, you throw the bubble screens, you throw the tunnel screens, and you're not going to get a lot, but if you just stay patient with it, you can work your way up the field on this defense at times.
That's a really tough game, Brandon. Then you have the Bears, who look like anybody can beat them right now. Then it's a really tough game against the Rams. I'll ask you the same question I kind of asked Mike here. Where are you at? Because going into Sunday, it felt like there was reason to be very optimistic. I know it's only one game, but it felt like, that optimism had to have come down to some degree on Sunday night. So where is it at right now heading into the final 3 weeks?
Very low confidence-wise. We're not playing our best ball, which is what we need to be doing. Additions you thought were going to come back in the fray would help you round into shape, especially on the offensive line. Instead, you're seeing regression there. Your offensive coordinator, who you thought could get things kind of rounded out as the year went along, is instead, much kind of regressed a little bit. The offense has regressed. And you add that on top of the injury situation and where that's at with Geno and that knee, I don't really see how this isn't pretty much probably the Rams division to take at this point.
All right, we'll see what happens. I still think it's anybody's ball game. Yes, the Rams are playing the best. It just feels like there's 3-week intervals where one team's playing the best football in this division, and it just kind of changes hands. So we'll see if it changes hands again. But right now, the Rams are leading the way and look to do so moving forward into the rest of the year.
I have a question for Mike. So I was just looking at the salary cap situation for the Arizona Cardinals. You guys have over $100 million to play with next year.
Yep.
Would you advocate for trading 2 first-rounders for Micah Parsons?
It's funny because this has been something I had 2 live streams today and people have been talking about Parsons. I think what you probably might have to do is make a trade to get in some sort of X Factor elite edge rusher. I'm not sure if that's Monty Austin's forte though. He loves draft picks so much. That's the only thing that I would say, I don't know, even myself, 2 first-round picks might be a little too much because I don't know. I just don't see it a Monty Austin move. If he does it, of course, we'll all be excited and be happy for it. That's one thing that the Cardinals need. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of money, but we are also going to have to pay Trey McBride too. I'm an advocate of bringing that man back in, extend him real quick. But the Micah Parsons thing, I don't know. I don't want to get too much because I've been seeing mixed reports oh, they're going to keep him or they're not going to keep him. I don't know. So I don't know. Not 2 first-round picks. I wouldn't.
Interesting question, Jesse. I don't think he stays in Dallas. I just don't see it.
I don't
Jake?
see why you would.
Yeah,
I
it just
think-
seems tough.
I mean,
Yeah.
if the Rams already took care of their quarterback issue after Stafford, I think they absolutely would. I think they would be, because I think people look at it and they're like, "Oh, F them picks is over." I don't think it is. Like, I think if there's a guy worth going after, the Rams would be interested. But currently, you don't have a successor for Matthew Stafford on the roster, and I understand for whatever reason he's never started a game or even taken a regular season or a preseason snap for the Rams, but a lot of Rams fans believe Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be that. I don't believe he is. So I don't believe the successor's on the roster. If it was, I think Micah Parsons would be a Ram, and I'd feel confident in saying that.
Let me
I see it,
clarify
man.
real quick. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, so a first round pick, I'm okay with doing that. Of course, that's going to take more than that. Like, if you want to give more, like a second, third, and stuff like that. But 2 first round picks, no. But first round and then kind of bundle up. Yes, I would love Mike Parsons to be an Arizona Cardinal. I mean, it's hard to get a guy to draft at the 17th, 18th overall spot that I think currently we're at right now to be a guy that's going to be that plug and play type of guy. We need that. We needed that X factor. So, of course, yeah, first round pick and then some. But I won't do 2 first rounds. Just to clarify.
2
Does it
first
just
round
mean-
picks and written in writing or written in paper that you can no longer do the podcast. How about that?
There is a chance,
No.
and we've got a background of making a run on these kind of players for these kind of big trades in the past with Schneider. So if you want to look at a trade that could come together where it's a draft pick and not 2 pure first round picks, we could throw some players into where Jerry would be satiated on feeling like he's getting players back and the draft capital still remain competitive, i.e. you throw a first rounder, you put a Kenneth Walker in there, you add a former second rounder like Derek Hall into the package as well. And maybe there you find a creative way to get that kind of deal done outside of just having to throw the pure 2 first rounders at it.
What if they ask you for JSN?
No.
Because I wouldn't do it either.
Straight up, no.
I wouldn't do it either. I think
No.
that's one thing you could take away from that game, and it was ugly. JSN is the best receiver on that team now. He is.
I'd hesitate on that one. The thing you have to keep in mind with what JSN does and with what DK does is JSN gets to operate from the slot. And like you've gotten to see with Cooper Kupp for many different years in there, when you have a guy operating from within the slot, that gives them a lot of freedom in there to get open. They're not dealing with press coverage. They get the movement prior to the snap a lot of times. And look, they showed a shot in that game of the biggest catch that JSN made, the 25-yarder over the top. There was triple coverage down on DK on the play. They literally showed an all-22 shot mid-game of 3 defenders sucked down on DK on a stop route so that JSN could get free over the top. And when you watch the all-22 game after game after game, DK gets that kind of attention. So my only pushback on this would be with if JSN's that much of a problem, why are all these defensive coordinators still putting all that attention to DK Metcalf?
They are making a mistake doing so because I'm telling you, I mean the guy.
Bold
he
take.
can
The professional defensive coordinators in math are getting this one wrong.
I'm giving credit because I bashed him. You were not here yet. I don't think. Were you here when we did the positional rankings?
No, that was like
the
no.
division.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
He wasn't.
I said JSN was overrated, and I didn't understand why he was so hyped. And the Seahawks were rated ahead of the Rams in terms of wide receivers, and I'm like, what has JSN proven? I mean, Tyler Lockett's getting up there in age, and DK is obviously great, but yeah, I've watched him all year, and I'm really impressed with his overall growth. I mean, he's becoming a really, really special receiver to watch. Yards after the catch, he could stick his face in the fan and block if you ask him to. Like, he's a good player. Like I think so.
Not a blocker. No,
I wouldn't say he's a
worst.
good blocker. I'm saying he's not.
He's our worst
willing.
blocker offensively. So let me put it that way to you. And
he's
offense has got
willing,
some
though.
challenges blocking, huh?
He's willing though. Is what I'm saying. I mean, you'll see
Not all the time.
You'll
no.
see.
Yeah,
you'll see
Jake,
guys take
your volume
franchise-
is really low, really, really low. Just a heads up.
Oh, I don't. Okay, I don't. I don't know what the fuck's going on with my.
Oh, there it
mic.
is.
There it is. It's better.
There it is.
Yeah, because I turned up the gain like all the way. But I don't know what's going on with my microphone. It's really weird, and it only happens in StreamYard. I don't know.
Same.
But yeah, no, I think JSN deserves more credit. So I
agree with you, and your assessment of him earlier was fair. It was the Buffalo game where he came alive, and every single game since that game, he's been a different player than really what he had shown prior. which had been kind of a mid sort of slot guy in the league. Not bad, but he had been, and then he just kind of exploded and took this step forward. He's a young guy, so this is also part of a guy being 21, 22 coming into the league that's going to take that big leap forward. And he's great. I'm not undercutting your point on that, but it's where it works together great between DK and him now and in the long term, where DK pulls those double teams off. You've got your slot now who got all that extra room to work with underneath because of that constant double team, and a double team you can count on.
I like that. Yeah, no, I have no issue with that because I think Seattle has a diversified wide receiver room that I think works well, and then you have Geno who can spread out the ball, and you have good running backs. I mean, this team should probably be better than what they showed on Sunday night. I mean, that's why I picked them to win. So I was a little surprised, but I also think I think they had a chance to maybe make that closer, and when Geno goes down, chances out the window. So in addition, I'll also admit, because I was, give Sam Howell a shot. Sam Howell is not anywhere near Geno Smith's level.
Oh, I wasn't in that train. At least I wasn't in on that one. I've said some mad things about Geno, but I never said play Sam Howell. Geno, not good. If I had to watch Sam Howell play, though, I would literally gouge my eyes out. I'd rather that happen. Like
Tommy DeVito would be worse. You have to admit.
Maybe.
I don't know why he's playing.
That was 5 of 14, 24 yards, a 1.7 yard average per attempt, and he tossed an interception in there. Geno dealt with all that pressure for 3.5 quarters, got sacked 3 times. Howe was in there for a quarter and about 4 minutes and got sacked 4 times. It's kind of give me the thing to stab my eyes out. Here, hand it to me, Jesse.
The fork. There we go. We found it.
Give me the fork.
We found something. We found usage for the fork.
Fellas, as always, all right, what do we want? Mike, we got one more thing on this?
No, you're good. You're good.
All right, I was going to say, because Santa's coming to town, and Santa is in the form of our amazing supporters here at the NFC West Roundtable. They have a sack full, of super chats for us. Littering super chats for us underneath the tree. We got to open them up right now. I know it's not Christmas just yet, but I can't believe this, a week from tomorrow. So let's open up some gifts early. Your super chats, folks. Let's turn the page and get to them right now. We'll start with Feed Me More Seahawks. He's saying, Brandon, please tell Jesse Jimmy G and Geno not equal at all. Wow, already the second Jimmy G reference this evening. Brandon?
Yeah, he's far better a player than Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo would last about halfway into the first game of the season before you'd be going over crying tears and my thing hurts real bad. I don't want to play no more.
I think that might be from there was something on my channel. Somebody had asked a question. I think it was a call-in show, and it wasn't saying that Jimmy G and Geno were the same, but they had brought up like, is Geno Smith? That was the question. Is Geno Smith the Seahawks Jimmy G? And I said, yeah, very similar in the sense that you should always be trying to upgrade. That's what I said.
That's a good way to put it. I feel like, because it's a spot you're in where you feel like you have enough to win, but you might not have enough to be at the elite level like some of the other teams are right now with that cream.
I'd push back on that, because to me, Jimmy G was a limiting factor on a great 49er team where you could see them going into games in the playoffs going, can we keep this guy under 10 attempts? Is it possible that we can just keep him to that? Whereas with Geno Smith, you've never been in that point of working around his limitations in order to do whatever you've done for the past.
Sometimes they should probably limit his attempts in the red zone. This guy's a turnover machine over there.
Don't miss out what I just said. I didn't say that there wasn't stuff within his game that isn't perfect or great, but again, he's not been the limiting factor on the whole, not what he does in the red zone, but on the whole, he's not been that limiting factor. Jimmy G, in watching their games, you could see where San Francisco was working around his limitations as a quarterback. It's not been the same thing.
Ruiz coming in. Every team has led the division.
What is it that he's held back on the team that he's cost them?
If this was the 2019 49ers plugged into 2024, 95% of people would say that Jimmy G is better than Geno Smith because they haven't seen Jimmy G not on the 49ers yet.
Yeah, if you guys had Geno Smith on that team that went out there again in that playoffs where you're holding them back to 7 attempts, again, just like that's a defining, crowning thing that a coach is telling them. I'm scared of this guy throwing the ball. And then when he does throw the ball, like in the Super Bowl, and he airmails it 3 yards over the head of a guy who's wide ass open, you got Geno Smith out there, buddy, he'd get you the Super Bowl in that game. So, I mean, like I'm okay. You want to knock Geno and say there's problems with it, but like, let's not overstate the case. let's not overdraw the argument into what it is. Jimmy G's a horrible
Jimmy
quarterback.
G, listen, Gino's better than Jimmy G. I'm not arguing that. They are not winning the Super Bowl with Gino, though. I'm sorry. It's not that big of a difference. Gino's not that good.
They're not winning
He's
the
not.
Super Bowl
I
with
didn't
Gino
say
because
them. I
Kyle
said
Shanahan's the head
49er
coach.
team in that Niner team in that first Super Bowl, if you had Gino there, you guys would have over Jimmy. Yes. Maybe not my team
I
right
don't know
now. I'm
about
okay
that
if you
one.
want to say that, but
Lyle would have blown it.
I don't know about that.
Brandon, do
I
you
don't
think it's a
would've thought
fair comparison to say that Geno Smith it might be the Seahawks Tua to some degree?
no. Again,
Don't
it's,
see that
it's a
either?
player you're talking about a player who's limited, and that team's got to overcome their limitations and whatever they do. There's some good things they provide, but you can see the open limitations that are there week in and week out on that quarterback every time he plays, even in the games where it goes good. With Geno Smith, he's had to put the team on his shoulders at times, many times over, to have to win football games. And so there are games where he's in 3 years. You can find some bad games. Yeah. Can I find some, like I said earlier, it's completely fair to say, is there a flaw here in the game down in the red zone that he's doing too much? Yeah. What's that coming from? Is it a fatal flaw because he's just a dumbass who doesn't know what he's doing down by the red zone? Or is it because he's trying to go into Superman mode? And then is he trying to go into Superman mode because the supporting cast is working really great around him? Or because he's asked to score all the time? Or because he's inundated with pressure all the time? And the second straight year now, he's gotten broken by pressure. That's where, again, nothing's ever simple. Stuff's complicated, in my opinion, on this. And this one's a complicated one.
It's all right. I'm an equal opportunist hater. I say the same thing.
I'm okay. I just want to put in the proper, let's put in the proper categories and the proper players of it. But no,
Right.
I don't think it's not to say that I'm a ride or die with Gino to the end, that he's got to, I'm perfectly okay if they want to potentially pivot this off season, Jesse. I am. But again, I don't want to put this into I sense sometimes there's this overstating of it to make the case on the Gino front of it without getting the proper form. I said he was a top 10 quarterback. I said you put anybody else in there, they'd employed. Everything I've said about Gino from the start of this is proven to be true from the start of this year, much in the same cases as the past couple of years. And I know we disagree on this.
Anybody else's Sam Howell. I mean, I don't know that that's like proving the point. Like, I get it. This was
the point.
It's so funny because back then it was Nick. Well, look at what Nick Mullins does. Jimmy G, man, you got to do this. Nick Mullins. Like, it's like, no, it's Sam Howell and Nick Mullins. Like, there is levels to this. He's a decent starting quarterback, but he's not top 10.
I watched Nick Mullins come in for your Niners and come and beat, I think, our Seahawks even at home, if I'm not mistaken, back in our history of it. I don't think that Sam Howell came close to pulling that off. I think Sam Howell showed you last year with the 4,000-yard season he had and 21 touchdowns. It wasn't a good year necessarily, but he was workable. That's not a rookie quarterback out there in his first action. I'm not even saying Sam Howell's a good quarterback or should be starting for anybody in this league, but he's certainly that bad. Part of the reason, and really the main reason he looks that bad, is because our line is just that bad. Case I've been trying to make all year. It's just that bad. The coordinator's not been particularly good either. And that's going to, any quarterback in this environment, the point I've been making you, Jesse, and one that I don't know if you're even pushing back on it, quite frankly, is that you put any quarterback in this situation, they would implode outside of maybe a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson. Any other quarterback. Yeah, Sam failed spectacularly, but this would also be the case for just about anybody else you put out there, or everybody else you put out there, quite frankly.
This is why I love this show. I would never have guessed
best.
we would have a Jimmy G debate this evening. We're 3 weeks from the playoffs. I forgot Jimmy G was even in the league, and we are having a heated debate about Jimmy G. Welcome to the NFC West Roundtable.
Did you see what his brother posted? It's like his brother or brother-in-law, but I think it's
Jimmy
his brother
G's?
posted. Yeah, after the Rams, because he's the Rams' backup. He's the Rams' backup.
This is what's scaring me right now.
Oh, okay.
This feels like a bad omen.
He posted a picture of Kyle Shanahan on his Instagram and said "genius" in quotations.
Who did?
Oh,
Jimmy G?
God.
Jimmy G's brother.
Oh,
With the dead emoji.
Yeah, like he's not a genius. Like,
Yeah. I love it.
I mean,
I thought it was pretty
if it was
funny.
coming from anybody else,
Jimmy G of all people.
It's hilarious.
So bad.
Man, that is
The
so
jokes
gross.
write themselves. You just gotta let people keep writing them.
It's always the family members too. Like if that was me, if I found out my sister was just like ripping my former coach, I'd be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're killing me right now. Please don't do this." Oh God, Ruiz. Every team has led the division. Like we were talking about earlier when I said it feels like every 3 weeks we're just changing hands in terms of who's playing decent football. Ruiz is kind of he's putting that into perspective here. Every team has led the division. LA doing it when it matters. I guess the question is, Jake, can you just hold on for dear life at this point?
Yeah, I think they can win out, but I have to say this. I want to make this very clear because I took the stance, and I'm sorry, Brandon, I have to go back on my word here that I thought Week 18 was going to be the Sunday Night Football to go to the playoffs. I don't think so anymore. I think that Cardinals game is huge. I really do. And, I think a lot of Rams fans are focused on Seattle, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that the Vikings game isn't a huge thing because it could literally turn that Rams-Cardinals game into a clincher if they lose that one. But the Cardinals are the most dangerous team right now, not because of how well they're playing as of late, but because they already have that win on the Rams. They have that tiebreaker. And I think a lot of people aren't understanding that if the Rams lose that game, they only have a 1% chance of making the wild card. They have to win the division. Whereas Seattle, they have a better chance of making the wild card. Arizona has a better chance because they've beaten better teams. The Rams don't have those common wins. So they would not. Atlanta is a problem for them. They need Atlanta. They need the Commanders. I mean, the Rams' really only realistic chance is to win the division. And luckily for them, for the first time all year, they're 2 games above 500. They're 12-1 in December when Matthew Stafford's the starting quarterback. And they get hot in the second half, as evidence to last year. But if they blow this, there's not a fail-safe here. They're not getting in as a wild card team. They're just not. So that's why, to me, the focus, I don't want to take focus away from the Seahawks. Both games matter. But that Cardinals game could literally decide the division, and it's on Saturday Night Football because of it.
Jake, it's interesting. If Matt Stafford blows that game, well, then you can just call on the best backup quarterback in the league. If Rodgers is coming in and saying, please put some respect on my QB too. Jimmy G, by far the best backup in the NFC West.
Is he?
I don't know.
Well, it's Clayton, man. Clayton.
Exactly.
Good God. There's really not any good backups in this division.
No, there really isn't.
And I guess that makes a lot of sense because I've heard the term "you're only as good as your backup quarterback," and yeah, really? I'm just saying. I mean, when the Rams had Carson Wentz last year, I felt like Wentz was truly one of the better backups in the league. I've always been big on Wentz, but Wentz doesn't run that offense like Jimmy G. He kind of does his own thing, can move throughout the pocket, and so I felt like they clearly just wanted that guy that had, obviously the familiarity with Kyle Shanahan's offense and, could just run within the system because if all hell breaks loose for the Rams and, God forbid Matthew Stafford goes down, Garoppolo is going to have to be a game manager. And you're going to have to hope that defense that showed up against the 49ers shows up every single week. But regardless, and this is why I said if they stay healthy, because if Stafford goes down, there's not going to be a Nick Foles story here. And there's not going to be a Kurt Warner story. And there's not going to be a Tom Brady, a la Drew Bledsoe. None of that. Nobody in this division has a quarterback that's going to win the Super Bowl as the backup. So, that's kind of scary. I don't like this. Let's stop talking about it because it's giving me this bad vibe. I have this evil aura around me. I mean, we just saw Geno go down.
Just saw Stafford almost got injured a couple times. It looked like on a few of those scrambles.
He's
Thursday.
He's indestructible though. He's ridiculous. He should have already missed games, but
he's
he
also
just stays
tough enough
out
to be
there.
like, I just broke my rib, but I can't show it on national title TV.
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
gonna breathe this off, but I really broke my rib. And
That Lions
on the
game,
first game,
the playoff game, he was 30% healthy at the end of it, just throwing dimes.
Going back to that week 17, super excited about that, man. I agree with you. And it's just because it's the next game. It's the next game. It's going to be very, very crucial for the division. So I'm really excited
Absolutely.
about that
Absolutely. You got to beat the Panthers, so there's a lot more stakes on that. Because if you lose the Panthers...
Yeah, exactly. Then we're cooked.
Well, I wouldn't say you're cooked because if you beat the Rams, but now you're letting Seattle back into it.
Morally, we're cooked.
Now everything is... And I mean, we could just have Seattle lose, the Rams lose, and the Cardinals lose. Because the Rams lost to the Jets the last time they played them. Yeah. That was the winless Jets. That cost them Trevor Lawrence.
Well, hey, fellas, we have a very, very special guest in the green room here, and he's been making a weekly appearance, and it's crazy that he shows up every week because he is an Academy Award-winning actor, and that's Christopher Walken. And tonight, Christopher Walken is going to He's going to answer the question, what's worse, wearing action green in a humiliating loss or going on a boating trip with Robert Wagner? Walken, please tell me the answer to that.
Oof.
I had to go, John, to the optometrist this Monday. So bright was the TV. But Robert, out there on that boat, him with his fiance argument, I don't know what's going on. What are you doing, Robert? What was that splash? I don't know. Officer, I saw nothing. Robert, why did you put me there? I'm sorry. I flashed back, John. Something happened there. I don't know what happened or where are we? Oh, I hate action green.
I feel like that would have been a lot funnier if I knew who the hell Robert Wagner was and what he did on his boating trip, but I got a feeling it wasn't good and it involved his fiance.
It's a very controversial thing.
Zibat, I don't know where she went. Where'd you go? It's a boat, a lot of water.
Oh boy, excellent work as always, Mr. Walken. We appreciate it. Ivan coming in. Rise up, Buddha C. Shout out to the Cardinals. Shout out to you, Ivan. Feed me more coming back in. Lyle like Willie from Bad Santa. Effing everything. Right in the Christmas spirit is feed me more Seahawks. Rams making Niners retire by halftime. Yeah, real quick. Jesse,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Right.
it's amazing we made it an hour without that coming up. Jesse, just real quick, your thoughts on that whole thing. It just feels like one more thing on the pile this year for San Fran.
Yeah, to me, the strangest thing is that Bosa came out this week or yesterday and said he could see it coming. Like, it's so yeah, there were some things in the locker room before the game. It's like, how did the coaching staff not pick that up and nip that in the bud before it became a thing? I don't know. Really weird.
A veteran too.
I don't get too. He knew this was the plan. Like you sign, that this is the plan. Is eventually Dre Greenlaw's coming back. Like
yeah. It's on Campbell. I mean, he's a sucker. That's just the way it is.
Ego gets the best of you sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy because you're only hurting yourself, clearly. I mean, you saw what unfolded because of it. Crazy sequence there. Let's give a big shout out to our main man, Dave, who's in here with us every week, constantly showing us love. He's telling us that he just left surgery and he's in serious pain, but he still somehow found a way to tune into the
Three times or four times he put this super chat out there, which means it's, like when people are like waking up from surgery and they do funny stuff, this is what he does. He super chats multiple times.
My goodness.
Well,
even when
glad he's okay.
Look at that. Even when under distress, Dave still finds a way to fire off some Lyle super chats. That's when you know he is the real deal. Dave,
he's committed.
Get well soon, my friend, and thanks for taking the time tonight. And we hope
he had
soon.
like a sinus surgery of some sort. So yeah, pretty gnarly.
Man.
Damn.
Well, Dave's coming in again. He's saying no service in his area. Got him. Yeah, that's why he sent it twice. But love you guys, and the love's right back to you, Dave.
Dave.
Much appreciated.
Love you, Dave. Take care, bud.
Feed me more. Josh Allen having a Peyton Manning 2013 season.
I think it's more all-timer just in the what he's doing in the way of arm and leg still. And I mean, my God, Z-Bot, by the way, you guys come on, stop with the quarterback carries as we get late in the season on that. Let's wind it down a little bit. If you can, I know you can only dial it back with him so much, but could you imagine Josh going down week 16?
Don't say that.
You'll never see me again.
Keeper up the middle on power or something, and you're going read option keeper power up the middle week 16. I get worried with it because he's having an amazing year. He's playing at a different level than who else, guys? I mean, who else can? I mean, no, maybe Lamar.
Lamar? Lamar? I agree with you. And Lamar's about to play the Steelers, so obviously we know he's going to fail there. But but I agree with you because let's just take away that whole. Let's add the human element to it. These guys are frustrated, okay? Like the Bills are playing some easy teams moving forward, and these teams have no chance at the playoffs. So it's a lot of frustration where you're now opening up the door. If Josh Allen looks at you the wrong way, the next play somebody could be trying to take him out. And that's the thing that concerns me this late in the year when you're playing these teams with nothing to play for. Not everybody's dirty and whatnot, but you have to keep that in mind. There's a lot of frustrations, and everybody goes in the season, at least to some degree, with the belief they can get to the playoffs. Maybe not win the Super Bowl, but to get to the playoffs. And when you're playing a New England Patriots team that's not going to get there, or Miami Dolphins, it's been a really frustrating season, or the New York Jets, or the Tennessee Titans, it's like you're bound to have at least one guy on that team that is frustrated and might take his frustrations out on a quarterback who is literally on top of the world right now. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere now. People are starting to say he's better than Patrick Mahomes, and that was a huge thing, last year and 2 years ago, and now it's not really much of an argument.
I'm just savoring every week of it. I've never seen anything quite like it in my life. And through the era of Jeff Toole and Trent Edwards in the gang, this is certainly EJ Manuel and Thad Lewis, and the list goes on and on. It's certainly something. I mean,
What
to your
about
guys'
JP
point,
Lossman?
oh well,
No,
I
don't
can't
forget the
include him.
goat.
He was the GOAT. He was the GOAT for the 2 years that we had him. It didn't get better than that. But to your point, like the Jets rivalry has been getting continuously chippy throughout the Allen era here. It's continuing to heat up. I thought the Lions this past week, by the way, man, they were getting their off-ball whistle takes in as well.
I'm not saying anything.
So
I've turned over a new leaf.
we'll see. But we took care of golf for you, Jake. That one was for you this past Sunday. So we hope Allen keeps it rolling. Feed
I'm
me
a new
more.
man.
Speaking of Jake. And Super Bowl talk, he said, you better not waste your time tonight with it. But you already mentioned Rams are winning it all if they make it.
Yeah.
You already said that tonight.
And how are you going to fire me? Who's going to replace me? I'm the -- Rams creator.
He's a flame
Feed me
you.
more will just come in, I guess. He'll come in. Or we can get Dave to come in and give us his weekly Lyle take. Or Brandon can do the show half as Christopher Walken and half as Brandon, and he can be the Christopher Walken Rams representation if we have to fire you.
Oh my God, Christopher Walken Rams.
Yeah.
I love LA.
You're already up
Randy Newman, Christopher Walken, Randy Newman.
just 4 boxes
friends.
of Brandon.
What friends?
Josh coming in. I expect an apology to Brandon after seeing Sam.
Yep.
Who's Sam?
Hal.
Sam Howell.
Oh,
No,
God.
yeah.
Wow.
For the record, I was not on this train, so I am not apologizing. I did not say that.
I think it just goes to show you I didn't even put 2 and 2 together there on Sam. I think that's probably, that says enough.
Why did someone compare me to a poor man's Lane Staley?
You guys got to stop bringing up people I don't know. I mean, this is just a constant theme on here. Who the hell is that?
Oh
Alice in
my
Chains
God.
Oh, my God. Yeah, dude.
What?
Yes. Yes, I
What?
see that. I
No.
totally see that. Yes.
No
Oh,
way.
yes.
I
We
got
just
No
need you to get
chance.
a long. We need you to go along right down here to make it see if it fits.
He
Yeah,
had
go
like that
along there.
crazy soul patch though.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
Oh no, he
after-
grew it all the way down. It like shake and stuff. He tied up a little bit. And
I
had
just
a little-
looked them up, Jake. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
dude. Hold
oh
on.
man, Alice in Chains is badass. So like I'm
One of
not
my
Hey,
gonna.
there ain't nothing wrong with that. Lane's
Hey.
revered.
Oh, I mean
Lane's
you're
revered.
in Seattle, so you know good
Yeah.
music.
Oh, I
so-
know.
I got
yeah,
to
Yeah.
listen. I got to pull this up real quick because the Wood music video, you look exactly like Lane does in that. Yeah, look at here we go. Look at. I mean, this is pretty spot on right now.
Oh my God, no, it's not.
I'm telling you, and I'll tell you, if you want to be compared to maybe the greatest vocalist of the '90s, I think you might want to take that in stride.
Hey, I'm here for it. I love Alice in Chains. I still listen to them, even their new stuff. But man, that album, it was Dirt. Oh my God,
One of my faves, man. In fact, not to
it's
not
just
to be that.
banger after banger after banger, and we don't get that nowadays. I mean,
know.
you get one album here and one album there, but oh man, grunge can't beat it.
You can't beat it. And I hate to be that plug in the Spotify Wrapped guy, but Alice in Chains made the top 3 this year. So
Hey, there
the
we go.
The fact that the Lane name went over my head has got me feeling a little bit fraudulent right now. I'm kind of pissed about it, but we got him in here with Christopher Walken, so I apologize.
It's Christopher Walken now and Alice in Chains.
Here's Christopher Walken covering Rooster by Alice in Chains.
Hey,
Z-Bot.
come
Hey,
kill a
Z-Bot.
rooster.
That Jake.
Ah,
What'd you say, Mike?
That Jake Moore super chat you didn't read.
Oh, Jake Moore.
Yeah.
He's saying, but Mike has the most
You'll
aura
read
out of
it.
all these.
Oh,
guys.
that's why
Oh,
you
there you
didn't
go.
miss it.
That was
You gotta
awesome.
read it,
Nice.
come on.
Well
Like
done.
that,
Well done.
uh,
Well
That's
done.
great. Love it.
Oh man, terrific. Dave keeping him rolling, baby. I love it. He said he'd rather have Baker than Brick. See it, Lil Jimmy. Dave
Now Brock's
feeling
brick. It's great.
Brick.
Would you rather have Sam Darnold or would you rather have Brock Purdy?
I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy, so
Yeah, it's so hard. to
I
say
really
Sam
like
Darnold.
Darnold. I really do.
I
I
like
think
him, but just
I think KOC has woken him up, and
oh for sure. To me, what Sam Darnold, a lot of people are like, see, Sam Darnold's really good. I don't see it that way. I see it as, so what Sam Darnold is doing is just another quarterback that if everything is great around him, they can play really well. Like that's
and I mean that's definitely fair. I just think there are some times. I mean, you talk like look at his blitz, his stats against the blitz before he went to the Minnesota Vikings was god awful, and now you're seeing him like this. Just tells me this is a guy that's learning, and it's very reminiscent to Geno Smith in my opinion, because I don't feel like Geno got a fair shake at all, and I always blame the New York media because you want to know why all these young Jets quarterbacks continue to suck there. Well, not only are they a bad organization because Woody Johnson's an idiot, but in addition to that, you have to deal with their media. And you have Sam Darnold, who's coming out of USC, on top of the world, won the Rose Bowl against the Saquon Barkley, Chris Godwin. Yeah, I almost said Trace McSorley, but that doesn't quite fit. Penn State team.
Shout out the Nittany Lions.
And then he goes to the Jets, and it's like, it just didn't work. And then you have the media that's just constantly tearing him to shreds. And it's the same thing that Geno went through. It's the same organization. And now, shocker, you're seeing both of them figure it out later on in their careers.
I think if Sam Darnold, like if the option is Sam Darnold 3 years 120 versus Brock Purdy 5 years 300, like give me Sam at that price. You know what I mean? Like
what are you doing with JJ McCarthy if you're the Vikings? I'm just curious. I'm not really even sure.
Good question.
But hey, 49er fans, we don't have to talk about Sam Darnold because Kirk Cousins just got benched, baby.
We're doing that again, are we?
Here we go. I think I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy like Jesse either. I'm not. I just there's something about watching him play that makes it hard. But I will say this, Jake, to your point, when you look at what he's been able to do with the pass protection, not necessarily great with Darrisaw when he went down this year and where their pass pro has been at. It has been pretty impressive to see a guy dealing with that and still really flourishing even in that environment. So, and I'm not a big guy. I wouldn't want him as my guy. It's a guy that is like Jesse. You've got some fans in your base kind of tell you, what was Steve Young? We've got some in my fan base too that are going the same thing. Where they're like, well, what about maybe we pivot to the younger Geno? And I just can't. It's kind of a bias hump thing. I can't probably get over with him a little bit, but he's having a good year.
Tommy's coming in. He's saying, how is Hop Along Geno doing? What is the latest on Geno, Brandon?
No structural damage. Everything looks good there. It's going to be one of those things, I'm sure, where he goes out there, they try to make him play, and it says the worst team to go out against in this. You want that team that runs a front four that doesn't get after the quarterback well if you're going to have Geno go out there in a game like this that you need versus the Minnesota Vikings team that's going to send all of the dogs, send that pack, and you're going to make them move. And you see it with those guys and quarterback wise, when they limp around and they have to move, especially with our line and how it's been not hard to see this train crash coming, whatever you want to call it. So it's just going to be, doesn't matter if he plays or not to me on that. Cause it's going to end out in the same kind of result.
Brandon,
what is it,
Dave,
MCL sprain or something, or what is it? They say anything?
They haven't given us the full details on calling it a full MCL sprain or whatnot with it, but he was barely limping up off the field, and
it didn't look
he's
good.
An older player. Yeah. He's not a 23-year-old kid where you just sort of shake it out once you get out of bed the next morning and you're like, it's good. You get to that mid-30s and it's like, oh, Jesus, what'd I do? And so I think maybe they'll try to put a shot in it. Maybe they'll do the Toradol thing, man. Stick a couple in there. But if not that, I don't know what.
Brandon, Dave wants to know, would you be willing to give me a Christopher Walken on why I should listen to the nurses and not work for at least 2 days? Because I run my business, but I'm hurting so flocking bad right now. # Fire Lyle.
There's a key to this, Dave Barclay. I'm going to tell you now, as you say, nurse, I'll listen to you every word. But what I need now from you is personal service, home service. So I'm going to need lots and lots of spun baths, and, a lot of other things mixed in, maybe. Rehabilitation is tough, nurse. And I want to listen to you. I do, but I need some help.
Take his advice, Dave. Take Christopher Walken's advice. He's a wise man. Ruiz is saying, Jake looks like Poseidon with that broom, I think, with that emoji there. F the 40 whiners, says Ruiz. Dave coming back in.
It's a power move.
Stafford better than Brick, Geno, and Kyler, says Dave.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's from Dave. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave giving a little respect to Stafford, but I think the bar's pretty low for Dave. I don't think it's very high for praise. So feed me more.
Frick.
Who would be the best pimp on the show?
Oh, it's Jake. He already
Jake.
came in the whole pimp
Yeah.
outfit. Like,
All right.
yeah.
It's a turtleneck. Yeah, it's a Jake, too.
I'm full Jake.
That's
Yeah,
my
Jake-
go-to winter outfit. I don't know what else you want from me.
Jake
And he's
minus
also got his toes outside.
500 to be the best pimp on the show over on BetUS. You can check out the lines on there. Roger, please use these $10 towards paying Brock. That man deserves it after having to deal with Debo, says Roger.
Hey, actually, here's a question for everybody in the chat. Non-Niner fans only. Would you be happy if the 49ers gave Brock big-time quarterback money?
Yeah.
This will tell you what the other fans think of us. Would you guys on the panel be happy?
Yes.
Like, would you advocate? Like, yeah, just pay him whatever you want. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
And
All right.
I
Worth it.
like Brock, but
Of course.
I like him for, I don't know, 20 to 40 million, not 60 million. And you
There
better
we go.
get that deal done before Josh Allen gets his. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
There we go.
I like Brock for 350,000.
Yeah, I like him a lot more on the veteran minimum, but
Just
Freddie
telling
coming
you,
in.
man.
Wow, we got Walken. He's getting his money's worth tonight. Walken, can you
Oh,
please give a congratulations to the Rams over their win against the Niners?
Oh, well done,
Congratulations.
Rams. Well done. You got the division. Feel proud about that. You do. I hope so. But you didn't win it. We lost it. All of us. 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks, my Seahawks. So stand proud now, Rams, with your horns so mighty. But it isn't going to last. Look at that gray beard. Stafford. It's like Father Time. I can hear him every time I look at him all the time. I blank out, guys. I don't know.
It's all good.
no, that's
you're
great.
working overtime, man. You can't you're
Right.
channeling that energy. That's not easy.
I did notice, like, this past, and I've been watching all year, but, like, Stafford's beard is getting gray. Like,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
gray.
So
I know,
dry
I-
and long. It's got to be done.
It's part of
to
the
sleep.
script, though. We all know it.
No doubt. I
Yeah,
noticed it in the post game the other day where I kind of did a double take too. I didn't really realize he had that going on. You
Yeah,
know?
Van
well,
Winkle on the
to be
football
fair,
field.
we see these guys with helmets on the whole game, and then
Right.
all of a sudden you get a rare shot, and you're like, oh, he looks like that. Okay.
Megan coming in. I think we got a little beef going on in the chat.
Oh.
Because Megan's calling out Tommy Huxley. And she's saying the fact that you keep saying my name makes you think you have a crush on me. Please stop.
Wow.
Getting annoying. Damn, what a lovers' quarrel going on in the NFC West. Chat.
The super chat to let you know how it really is. I
Yeah.
love it.
Love it.
Standing
Leave
on
Megan alone.
business.
John coming in. Brando, can you explain the death of the Hawk home field advantage? As a Hawks fan, I prefer being on the road at times. Yeah, what's up with that, Brandon?
Yeah, well, the rest of the NFC West panel will love to hear this. You can count potentially this last game as I think is the day where you can put the tombstone up. Jesse, you had a tombstone thumbnail for this on Niner season a couple weeks ago. Well, I think you put a tombstone up for in a lot of ways, the 12th man or the 12th man moniker. The stadium has lost its home field advantage. We're less than 500 there over the past 4 years. You can sense that there's a lack of volume on that stadium. Opposing fans come in there and take it over now all the time, which was never a thing with me growing up. People will try to blame it at times on being bad or that they're not good. Look, when we were in the 80s, we weren't good. In the 90s, we weren't good. You still didn't see the opposition fans taking over the stadium like this in this way. And it's on top of that, you have a lot of wine and trees crowd kind of people in there, the affluent crowd that don't feel like they need to get up and be loud. And that's the whole thing with it. And I know you guys might find it a little bit annoying, but there was a thing that our fan base figured out at one point or another in that Kingdom back in the day was that if we all get everybody going loud as we can affect this game. And it had that tangible effect. And that's where this whole 12-man thing broke at it from. But it's gone. It's not coming back. I don't think anytime soon in this modern corporate NFL era. And it's sad to see. It was a really cool thing to happen while it lasted. We got to set Guinness World Book of Records and earthquakes, but no more.
Man,
God,
made me
that's
kinda
so
sad.
depressing.
Yeah, really. That's such a bummer. That
You
really
should have
makes
done
me
that
sad.
with a walk-in accent.
I wish I can't even muster up the walking with that. He can't. He's so sad about it. It busts me up, man, because I've watched this thing draw away. I've been in the stadium myself and gotten loud, and you see people silent around you, and you try to get them loud, and you almost can just about get into a fight. You cannot shake them or rattle them to get them to do it. And you sit there and you look around, and you got people just. You're like, get loud.
I'm hoping they're eating.
You know, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter, I guess.
The screen grabs on that,
What?
you're done.
Looking around, you're staring at
You are
everybody,
done.
Smattering at people standing up, looking around the rest of
Yeah, I never understood that, man. Go to a baseball game if you're going to
Yeah.
do that. Never
No,
understood that.
yeah, this is not baseball. It's just football. Know what time it is when you walk in that stadium. It's like,
Oh,
and
man.
it just pisses me off that this generation's like, huh? You want me to like get up and like give effort? Oh.
Oh,
Feed me more. He wants you to play the Niners song one more time, Jake. How about a Lane Staley, Alice in Chains rendition of F the 49ers? That could be something.
oh God, how the hell would I do that?
I don't know. I love it though.
Hey, pack your motherfucking bags, cause you're
Division
done.
bottom.
Like, I don't know.
Pretty good to me.
They
Daz-
got the Niners. Oh yeah. You
They're
know
gonna
we
die.
ain't gonna die. I can't go that high. Are you kidding me?
Oh man. Well, we can dub that in later. I think. We gotta keep
Oh
going.
my
They're
God.
gonna have to rebuild.
Only solace.
Brock Purdy.
Speaking of Brock Purdy, the only solace for Daz as a Niners fan, the rest of the season is seeing the Sea Chickens lose. Wow, that's where Daz is at. He's just rooting for misery for everybody else at this point. Long live the King! Shout out to Purdy taking the business decision sack. That last Hail Mary play instead of chucking that ball and having it land at the 23-yard line. That's why I've always loved that approach. Jake, I loved it when McVay dialed that up. I hate dropping everyone back on the Hail Mary.
You know
Just
they did.
Did they?
Yeah, and then he
You wouldn't
called the
know.
timeout, and he's like, "We're not doing this Kobe Turner versus the world thing again."
Right.
Because he went viral because he was basically being blocked by 6 dudes, and he's like trying to fight through, and they're like, "No," and then it worked.
Yeah, it definitely did. Where they were on him.
Oh! Did you guys see when Brock Purdy literally did a jump in the air, like backwards?
Yeah, I brought back the 60s pass, dude. I haven't seen
was
that since
like-
black and white.
I was like, why did he jumped in the air backwards into a sack? And I guess that's where that stat that came from, Brock Purdy leads the league in, sacks that are his own creation. I watched him leap backwards into a sack. And I'm not a Brock Purdy hater, but I was like, I've never seen anyone do that, frankly.
The
I couldn't
closest,
believe it.
actually, Mike would remember this one. Remember Jimmy G pirouetting in the pocket to get sacked by the Cardinals? That's what it reminded me of. I was like, what is happening right now?
We got
Oh,
Randall.
man.
Randall saying, when did the Packers and their fans move to Seattle? Oh, man, another dig at the 12-man area. Stop selling your tickets. Damn, I just hate to hear that. That sucks. Roger, please put some. Oh, we already read that one. He wants more respect on Jimmy G. QB too. Feed me more. Jimmy G don't need to start. He's already an OnlyFans star. Oh, that's news to me.
Oh my God.
Wow, good for Jimmy, man.
Jimmy G string.
Jimmy G.
Killing it. Here's a special one. Dave, with no context, does your mother sew? Boom, get her to sew that.
I just watched Jesse's reaction to the entire thing. It's so funny.
They got Dave on the happy pills over there, wherever he's at.
That's so good.
Lyle Regional Hospital. They got Dave on something special over there. Hank Woodmore. We are the big brother now.
Must be a
Hank a Rams
Rams fan, I
guy?
don't know.
Maybe
They always were. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. So, since 2021, they've been the big brother. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you get there. If you can't get the title home, it's like, hey, I got this trophy. And then you come home and you're like, yeah, but, I'm the older brother and I don't have anything. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
DVN wants more of that trap house, Jay. We're getting requests for that left and right.
Man.
Nobody can get enough of that after 49ers.
I feel like there has to be some level of respect here because we owe it to the Niner fans. They're going through it already. And I've already had my piece. I don't need to keep rubbing it in, and Jesse's a friend, so I am not going to subject you guys to more of that. But I appreciate the super chat. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy that keeps playing it over and over again. It's like, telling a joke trying to explain a joke. It's like if you take apart a frog, you dissect a frog, you can't put it back together and be like, oh yeah, live your life now. You can't. So yeah, it was funny once, and if I do it again, it will 1,000% ruin it. I guarantee it.
Can't lie. After you saying that, if you were to immediately hit play on it, it would probably have been the funniest thing of all time.
I'd go on a whole and be like,
Yeah, that actually would have been up my alley, but I was somewhat serious on that, so I'm going to stick by it. But that was pretty good.
Ruiz is begging for. I mean, everybody's begging for it. I mean, listen, I got a feeling the numbers on that video are going to be off the charts after this. People are going to go look it up. They can't get enough of the F the 49ers banger. I'll tell you what, if not for anything else, it's just a catchy song. And once you hear it once, you can't stop singing it, you know?
Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some
funny.
booty cheeks. Like, it's just so funny. Like, I don't know.
No
And-
handicap. Go Rams. Lions lose, but Rams win. Exposed, says no handicap. The Lions are banged up, man. They're losing
are
guys
very
every week.
yeah.
Lost a couple more this weekend. David Montgomery done now. That defense is eviscerated. And it
Feel
felt like
bad
Dan
for them,
Campbell.
man.
Wild.
Yeah, it
I'm
feels
a
like
new
he's kinda
man.
coming.
I don't hate the Lions anymore. I don't know if you guys saw my public service announcement on Twitter, but I don't hate teams. I don't. Fan bases can be a little annoying, and I've had bad experiences with Lions fans, but I feel for them because this is a team that should be the favorite to win the Super Bowl, at least coming out of the NFC. And they've now lost David Montgomery and Aiden Hutchinson and Lee McNeil. That's going to kill them in the run game. Carlton Davis that might actually help their pass defense a little bit, but I'm just kidding, of course. I hope he's okay. But, all jokes aside, though, I mean, I hate injuries. It's why when people were saying in the comment section, why are you're a closeted 49er fan, defending Brandon Ayuk? No, I would hope you guys would defend Brandon Ayuk because that hit didn't need to happen. A guy crossbody, blocked him like he was Rey Mysterio into his kneecaps. I mean, he didn't need to do that, tackle. But injuries suck. And it's like why I genuinely feel bad with the whole Geno thing. Like you don't, I can't stand the whole, I hope he doesn't play because then we have a chance. It's like, wait, you mean to tell me that you believe so much in your team and you think your team is so great that you actually have to sit there and hope the other team gets injuries so you can win? I don't think you think that, that highly about your team. I hate injuries and I wish they'd go away like a Thanos snap,
I wouldn't hate that. That would be that. If you invent that, Jake, just remember me. I remember you knew me because that would certainly if you get the shot, the Toradol shot that can completely cure everything. you'd be sitting on
Patriots
the
would
mountain.
not be in good shape because
No.
Drew Bledsoe would never have gotten hurt
That's
and
true.
Tom Brady wouldn't exist.
All that glitters is not gold. Ruiz. Apparently, I read his chat wrong. He wanted Christopher Walken to sing the Trap House song. Man, Brandon, we're putting you on the men tonight, my friend.
F them Niners. F them Niners. Whoa, whoa, whoa. F them Niners. Oh. F them Niners.
And there it
Y'all
is.
some booty
Ruiz,
cheeks.
Ruiz, sorry, brother.
Booty cheeks. Cheeks.
DBN's blowing my shit up in the chat, saying I read his chat wrong. DBN, clarify to me, please, what I read wrong. I thought you wanted another play of the Niners song that everyone keeps begging for. If I read it wrong, I apologize. Please let me know. I'll correct it. Apparently I read that the Ruiz one wrong as well. If I had read it right initially, we would have been blessed with that walking rendition of the song.
Sounds better
earlier than
Pearl
we were.
Jam.
Damn. Ouch. Mike A., are we at the point of the former Packers quarterback timeline where Rodgers will be a Viking next year and Darnold takes over for GQ Jimmy as Rams quarterback too?
Darnold should not be backing up anybody. That dude is going to get paid. He's probably going to be the highest paid player in free agency. So I think he goes to the Titans, by the way, because I'll tell you right now, Callahan's looking at the defense. He's looking at the job that I totally blanked on the guy's name, but defense coordinator they got from the Ravens. He is killing it this year. And that Titans defense is good. They just don't score points, and then eventually they get tired and they get stepped on. And I mean, we saw it earlier in the year. Will Levis's bench today, they put that out there. Brian Callahan had enough with Will Levis back in like week 2. Did you guys see him just ripping his head off on the sidelines?
Oh, yeah.
He's ready for his own quarterback, and I think it's going to be Sam Darnold.
Darnold definitely made himself some money. I'd be interested to see. Maybe they franchise tag him. I don't know how you let him walk out the door the way that he's been playing.
I think it'd be a mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
You
Feed
got
me
the
more.
McCarthy thing you can't avoid with it.
Anybody got any Bugs Bunny chops in here? Ask Feed me more.
No.
Also, Lyle has elf ears. Throw that in there. Megan, Brandon is right. He and I were at a Hawks game in 22, and while he and I blew our throats and ears out, not many around us did the same. So sad. Man.
That place used to be a house of horrors, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that. It's not that anymore.
It's a baton that's been passed for a couple of generations, and then the generation right now is trying to pass to the next, and they're just sort of slapping it away. And I don't know why.
I blame Fortnite. Fortnite is the ruiner of everything, so it's Fortnite's fault.
This is the new slang nowadays. Jake looks like a whole goofy in that getup.
I mean, that's probably the only time I've gotten is that a negative compliment? What is a goofy? I look like Goofy from like Disney? Like what the hell does that even mean? Like but this is the only negative thing I've only ever gotten positive feedback from my fits, so I don't know. I don't know what Goofy is, but you'll have to let me know.
Well, you're not just a goofy, you're a whole goofy.
A whole Goofy.
Yeah.
That changes things.
Oh,
well,
now, I mean, we're throwing fists now. I mean, now there's a throwdown. Like, a whole Goofy? Oh, you've done crossed the line, my man.
I kind of like that, Goofy. I gotta start using that, but I like it in a good way. Like my man Goofy over there. You know, I don't know. Sounds kind of cool to me.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Feed me more, saying Jesse left.
No,
I'm back.
He's here.
He's back.
He was gone for a little bit, but he came
Oh,
back.
did you leave? I didn't even know.
Yeah, I had to step out for a second.
Yeah.
But he's
That's
back.
that's what they all say when they see the broom.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, Jesse left and he came back, but now we're gonna have to leave you again. That's gonna do it for us here on the Week 15 recap episode of the NFC West Roundtable. Nearly an hour and a half in the books. You guys are the best. A huge crowd tonight with us, as it has been throughout the year, and I would imagine it'll continue to be so as the next couple of weeks go down. It's still anybody's ball game, man. It's still a very exciting finish that we have in store for us here. One more from Feed Me More. Jake needs a low tepper fade.
What is
I
a
think he meant
tepper
taper.
fade?
I think he meant
Yeah.
a
Oh,
taper.
tapered?
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to look more douchier than I already am. So.
What is the low taper fade? Is that like a buzz cut?
Like it goes. I did just get a fresh cut. But
It's like imagine
yeah.
like all the jersey cuts from back in the day, like the low taper into the thick hair,
Yeah.
like the jersey cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on
The
that.
DJ Pauly D cut, man. Like,
Yeah.
liked up hair and whatever else, man. I don't know. I like the look now, Jake. I wouldn't go with the low taper cut if it's sounding like what I'm hearing here.
I appreciate that. I had someone say that you should do the Aaron Judge, and I was like, no, I don't pull that off. It was what is it the like the Mohawk like fade? Like no, I'm not. I don't know, and I don't know what the hell. You guys ever see Michael Hoyt without his helmet on? Love the guy. I think he's a great player, but that was a shock to see. It's just a straight mohawk back, man. No hair on this side. Like it's a legit mohawk. It's like that one fullback that I forgot his name. He played for the Seahawks.
Oh, the beer truck. Owen Schmidt.
Yes, Owen Schmidt. That dude was the biggest badass. I love
that was his
guy.
nickname too. Best nickname for a fullback ever, the beer truck.
I love that guy so much. I didn't even care. Like as a young kid watching the Rams, I was like, I don't even care. He's on the wrong team. Like Owen Schmidt's my favorite player.
He walked out once and bashed his own head so hard with his own helmet walking out in pregame that blood started to erupt off of his forehead. He was kind of one of those guys wired like that, program style kind of players.
I was just say the program.
Oh my God, dude.
Right. Cut out of that same kind of cloth. Like literally he just hits it and the blood's just like coming down his face. And you're just like, ooh, okay.
Owen Schmidt was
a bit
built
intense
different.
today, boys.
I would have featured him in my offense. Dude's a badass. You put him in at the 1 yard line.
I was gonna say anybody's willing to bust their head open and get back in there, man. But I want him on my team. I love.
He's
him.
over there saying sorry.
You know what's funny about that is with football, you always get stories like this. like bust their head open, like slam their head against a helmet, blood on the face. And in basketball, everyone is punching a damn fire hydrant. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, but yeah, no. Owen Schmidt, badass, and I'm glad we mentioned him. I could not remember his name, but he was awesome.
Hey, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, once again, the odds for the winner of the NFC West are currently up on BetUS, and here is what they are at this current moment. The Rams are the favorite at -165. Seahawks in second at +210. The Cardinals at +700. So the lines are still up there, and even if you think the Rams are going to walk away with it and win out, still decent money on them at -165. You're going to want to get in on that before they beat the Jets, because that number will only get bigger and bigger. So if you want to get in on these lines or any of the upcoming Week 16 lines, do so over on BetUS using the promo code YouTube150, and that'll get you 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, and 125% on your next two after that. We're getting some clarification, by the way, from Hank Woodmore, who's saying Goofy equals clown. Okay.
So
thanks, Hank.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna use it a little bit differently here on the NFC West Roundtable. From now on, Goofy is gonna mean cool.
He hurt my feelings. I'm never
We're taking it
recover.
back.
I might actually not be able to co-host or whatever, quad host or whatever the hell it is, penta host the next show, because my feelings are forever hurt by being called Goofy.
A whole
You're
Goofy.
saying-
A whole Goofy. So a whole
yeah.
clown.
Not just a half. Half you could get by with. But
I
saying, you're
3/4,
resigning.
man.
You're resigning before Feed Me More can fire you, like he said he was going to earlier, if you bring up the Super Bowl anymore. But as Brandon said, we're taking Goofy back. Goofy's ours now in the NFC West Roundtable, and we're gonna use that throughout the rest of the year, I think, and it's gonna be interchangeable. You're never gonna know what we're gonna mean by it. Hey, also on your way out the door, my good fellas TD and my main man over at the NY Jets Media, Richie. They wanted me to let you know that every morning on the NFC, or not the NFC Roundtable. There's so many roundtables now, I can't even keep the roundtable straight, but there actually is just a roundtable.
Oh,
It's
we know.
Roundtable Sports, the YouTube channel, and they wanted us to let you know that they are hosting a brand new show every morning on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. It's called Get Up and Ball, and they wanted us to let you know that Roundtable Sports has that brand new show, and it starts at 8:30 in the morning every single day. They're covering all sports, so make sure to go and subscribe to the main Roundtable Sports channel and check them out every morning at 8:30 a.m. If you want to check out the NFC West Roundtable again, which I know you do, we're going to be with you again later in the week, previewing all of the Week 16 games. So on the way out the door, like button if you could, and subscribe button. That way we can let you know of all upcoming episodes, including that preview episode. So good stuff, fellas. Hour and a half in the books. A lot of laughs, a lot of fun. As always, we appreciate you all coming on the ride with us. For Jake, Mike, Jesse, and Brandon, I'm your host, Z-Bod. Thanks so much for tuning into the NFC West Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.
Go Cardinals.
go Hawks.